The palace infirmary was silent, save for the faint hum of life support machines and the occasional rasp of shallow breathing. Behind reinforced glass, 6 royal cubs of the Drash'ti Empire lay curled together in their bedding, their scales dull and eyes hollow. For days, they had refused every delicacy the Empire had prepared for them, meats from the frozen seas, fruits from the fire forests, even nutrient slurries engineered to meet their biology. Nothing passed their lips. The High Regent, towering and draped in ceremonial steel, stood outside the chamber with barely concealed panic. "If the heirs do not eat," he muttered, "the royal line ends within a cycle." His words trembled in the air like the crack of a whip. The court healers bowed their heads. They had tried everything: medicinal feeds, ancestral scents, even memory songs to coax hunger. All had failed. At the far end of the chamber stood Captain Elena Ruiz of the Terran Expeditionary Corps, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. She and her unit had been stationed on Drash'ti Prime as part of a cultural exchange. They had not been called to the palace to fight, but to observe. Yet desperation had a way of pulling humans into the heart of alien crisis. The regent's slitted eyes flicked to her. "Human, your kind claims adaptability unmatched. If there is wisdom in your species, offer it, or depart." Ruiz stepped closer to the glass, studying the cubs. Their bellies caved with hunger, but their tiny jaws clamped shut at the sight of food. Their tails twitched weakly, betraying both fear and stubbornness. "They're not starving because they don't like the food," Ruiz said softly. "They're starving because they're grieving." The regent's spines flared in outrage. "They are heirs of the Empire. They are not weak." Ruiz didn't flinch. "Even heirs are children. And children need comfort before sustenance." Silence fell. The alien dignitaries shifted uneasily. To them, comfort was a foreign concept when weighed against discipline and bloodline duty. Ruiz unclipped the small metal tin at her hip. It hissed as the seal broke, releasing the unmistakable scent of Terran combat rations, rich, salty, and strangely smoky. The Drash'ti guards recoiled. "You would poison them with battlefield feed?" one healer hissed. Ruiz smirked faintly. "Not poison. Rations. This stuff kept my people alive in deserts, frozen tundra, and on worlds that hated us. It isn't pretty, but it works." She tilted the tin, revealing compressed bars and packets of dried protein strips. The regent scoffed. "They will not touch such crude matter." "Maybe," Ruiz replied, "but they might eat it if I eat first." Without hesitation, she tore a strip free and bit into it. The sound was loud in the still room: crunch, chew, swallow. She exaggerated each motion, turning toward the cubs behind the glass. For the first time in days, their eyes flickered. Tiny pupils followed her movements. One cub lifted its head slightly, nostrils quivering. Ruiz crouched, pressing her palm to the glass. Slowly, deliberately, she took another bite and smiled as if sharing a secret. Then she placed the ration tin on the sterilization tray. The healers hissed their disapproval. The regent raised a claw to forbid it, then froze. One cub dragged itself forward. Claws scraped weakly against the bedding. It nosed at the packet, tiny teeth gnawing the edge until it tore open. The protein strip fell free. Hesitant, trembling, the cub bit down. A sound broke the silence, a soft, keening chirr. Not pain. Relief. The others stirred. First one, then two, then all 6 crept toward the packet. Soon, they were devouring the ration strips in clumsy hunger, tiny jaws working furiously. The regent staggered back, eyes wide. "Impossible! They consume foreign soldiers' fare." Ruiz rose to her feet, voice steady but edged with steel. "Not because it's food. Because it's shared food. They saw me eat. They trusted me. That's what broke their fear. For the Drash'ti, hierarchy was absolute, elders dictated, the young obeyed. The idea that offspring would mimic instead of submit was unthinkable. Yet here it was, undeniable. The royal cubs had chosen survival by imitating a human. The regent's claws trembled against the railing. You shame our healers. You shame our traditions. Ruiz shrugged. No shame in keeping kids alive. Where I come from, soldiers share their last crumbs with each other. We don't let anyone starve alone. As the cubs licked the last crumbs from the bedding, one let out a small warbling sound, an attempt to mimic the human's earlier crunching bite. The watching Drash'ti gasped. To them, this was no mere hunger. This was bonding. Word spread through the palace like wildfire. The humans had saved the royal line, not with medicine, not with technology, but with the simplest of acts. Eating first, and letting children trust. Days later, when the cubs were strong enough to leave the infirmary, they padded after Ruiz wherever she went, chirping and warbling, demanding more of the strange rations. She obliged, sometimes slipping them extra strips when the regent wasn't watching. It was then the Empire began whispering. Perhaps humans were not merely soldiers, not merely ambassadors of resilience. Perhaps they were something more dangerous, more profound, creatures who understood the hearts of children better than entire civilizations. In the halls of power, one phrase became etched in the regent's mind, a phrase that gnawed at him in sleepless nights. We don't let anyone starve alone. And for the first time in centuries, the Drash'ti Empire wondered if compassion, not dominance, was the true mark of strength,